Seems like there's always something in your life that sets a trend, and whether you look back at it and think it's good or bad, I don't know. Gosh, was I supposed to be dressed up?
Oh,
Did you guys have dinner?
yeah, we did.
Good. I graduated from high school in '52, and then we farmed for a couple of years, and some of the land that we rented, we weren't going to get the following year, and at that time there was a draft on every month or so. They'd take guys out of the community for service. And I said, well, I got to go to service sometime. I just volunteered for the draft, and that was in the fall of '54. Well, they never got around to taking me until March of '55. But the Korean War was going on at that time, and 32 days short of being a Korean veteran, which I'm glad nobody shot at me or nothing, but I always kind of thought, oh, wait a minute, I put in my time, how come I'm not a veteran? But it was 2 years you'll never forget. But I thought, I really didn't do much good. I just kind of put in 2 years' time, and of course the pay was so great, you know, man. I started out, I got $78 a month. And by the time I got out, I was getting over $90 every month. I always wanted to go to Europe. And for the first year in service, I want to go to Europe. I want to go to Europe. Every month I'd go down. We don't need you in Europe. How'd you like to go to Iceland or Greenland? No, I don't want to go to Iceland or Greenland. I don't like cold weather. And after a year there, I said, forget it. So I spent the rest of my time in Chicago. I was a radar operator. We were tracking planes in and out. Early warning detection. I tell you what, if that was the best protection they had, we're not as safe as you thought we was. Been through there for a couple years though now, but it changed so much. This ain't the Chicago I knew. And I didn't even reckon, you know, I was down there, the interstates was just being built. I could have told you every street in Chicago. And this was in '56 when I was out there. If I'd catch a ride home, there were guys around here would send cattle to Chicago. I could always check and find a ride with Beeline transfers. They'd leave Carroll and, hey, you want a ride? Yeah. But I got off right at the stockyards. I didn't know where I was at when they dropped me off. And I don't know, back then I think there was a little prejudice yet, but I just walked to the first house that they seen, and I remember a black lady coming to the door and said, yeah, can I help you? Yeah, I want to get over to, I forget, 55th and something. Can you tell me how to get there? Sure, she said. And I thought, but any of my kids was going to Chicago like that, I'd say, come on, you ain't going out there like that. But I was too dumb to be scared. And why should you be, really? I mean, I guess whatever. Sometimes plain dumb ain't the worst thing in the world. I graduated from high school in '52. My brother-in-law and I was farming together.
Here?
Yeah, farmed with him in the last year in high school. I remember the teacher saying, if you want to farm, you just go farm. But if you want to go to school and learn something, maybe you should come all the time. He said, yeah, I guess that'd be a good idea. But well, if you had a plant corn or something, you couldn't go to school. I got work to do. And then we farmed for a couple of years, and some of the land that we rented, we weren't going to get the following year. And when my dad died, and of course my mother had died when I was 15 years old, so the rest of the kids wanted to sell the farm. And I, in the meantime, had gotten married, and we were farming. And I thought, farming's about the only thing I know. At one time, I wanted to go back to college and see if I could learn a trade. So it was a case of either buy the farm or move. And I remember going to the bank where, ever since I had any money to put in with the Carroll County Bank, and the president said, no. He said, you can't handle a farm. He said, take your money with the rest of the kids, get yourself a job for $100 a week. Anyway, I talked to an old guy from Federal Land Bank named Phil Dennis. He was a big guy. He always had a cigar in his mouth, but he never lit it. He just kind of rolled it around and bit on it and chewed on it. And I called him and he said, well, can I come out and visit with you? Told him the story. He said, let me think about it a little bit. He said, I go back to the office. He said, I'll get back to you. They called again a couple days later, and he came out. But anyway, he was chewing his cigar, and he said, you can go to town and get yourself a job for $100 a week. He said, and whatever you make, you're going to learn to live up. You'll spend $100. And he said, I think you ought to buy the farm. And I thought, oh, shit. Why does he think this is all right in the bank where I banked at all my life? Said, you'll never make it on that. But anyway, that was in the 60s, and the 70s came along, the roaring 70s, and prices went up and everything was going up and land prices went up, and the guy looked like a genius. Man, I got this made. And I was farming this, and I rented some more ground and bought more equipment and stuff, but I didn't buy any more ground. That had gone up quite a bit. But every week I doing some card playing, poker, every Monday night in the wintertime with some of the same guys all the time, and came them 80s, the Depression or what have you. Interest went to 16%. So if you had money borrowed and you didn't pay it off, the price doubled. Out of 7 guys playing poker, 4 of them got out of farming, or I'm sure I'd have did about the same thing as some of them other guys. They went through the squeezer. Once again, Art, you just got lucky. Right time at the right place. And of course, money isn't. You gotta like what you're doing. I was born in this house.
Born in this house?
Yeah, he didn't go to the doctor or the hospitals then. The doctor came out sometimes. Sometimes he didn't even come out, depending upon if there was a problem with the delivery or not. I got a brother and 3 sisters, and then stepbrothers and sisters. I got 7 more. So there was 12 of us. You can kind of see where that doorway is. Used to be the end of the house. The laundry was in the basement. There was a lot of laundry. You didn't buy diapers to throwaways. You had them cloth ones where you took them down to the laundry room and re-washed them again and took them out to the line. She didn't have to worry about no exercises in the exercise room. By the time you did the laundry and stuff and went upstairs to the bathroom, and even for me now, I don't know if I'd like going upstairs and down to the basement. Oh, that's another story. See them little holes in the furniture above that? All them little bitty holes? My wife used to hang kids' stockings on there with a thumbtack. And them kids would always be checking to see if Santa Claus left anything for them. And they'd come down and they'd put the stocking back up. Never in the same hole, of course, just a different one. Boy, I said, that's so hard on the furniture. I said, look at what that's doing. He said, you should talk. See that AR? You put your initials in there. I said, no, I didn't. That AR, that's not for Arthur Rife. That's Alvin Rife. She said, sure, you can say that. He ain't around to protect himself. And I said, well, I didn't do it. So I don't know how the AR got in there, to tell you the truth. I think it was Alvin. He was the guy with the big pocket knife. That used to be a big thing in the fall, summer. If anybody had a patch of watermelons, sooner or later somebody knew about it. There's always somebody wanted to go in and get the watermelons, but we rode around with, there was a group of kids up miles to the south, Weederns. They were some rough, tough dudes. But anyway, they had a horse and buggy. I had an old workhorse that I could ride, and my brother had a little riding horse. They'd come up and then we'd get to go long riding. And of course, at that time, everybody had a horse. Anyway, they knew where there was a patch of watermelon, so some horses had 2 riders, and we rode on down to where the watermelon patch was. It was Frank Budens' watermelon patch. And the guys riding double, they slipped one guy off of the horse, and he walked into the watermelon field, and the other guys kept riding on by up to the corner and slow, and then they turned around and came back, and by that time them guys had got up to the patch, got a couple of watermelons each one, and came back and was getting on the horses, and I heard them, "Get out of there, you son of a SOBs." We were going down the road with them watermelons on horse. And I remember going to school the next day, and one of them kids that was in there was a girl, and she's stealing our watermelons. That's terrible. I don't know. I guess I asked that, go to confession, you have to tell that to the priest that you stole watermelons. He said, "No, I don't." He said, that's just a kind of a funny thing to do.
You wanna drink anything?
You are? Okay,
Yeah.
it sounds good. I'll go along with that. But I said, "Hey Mary, when I come in the evening, I think I really worked today, so I pour a shot of Black Velvet and Diet Pepsi and drink that and read some papers and walk around and go to the shower and clean up, and I think, boy, it's a shame to waste that other half of Pepsi, so I have another one." And I said, "Mary, am I an alcoholic?" And she said, "Yeah, you're there." And Doc said, "Oh, no. He said, those 2 are good for you." And I said, "Thank you, doctor." So every time he came out and he needed booze, he said, "Give me some money," and he said, "Hey, when you get to town, get me some Four Roses, will you?" Big board up there, the different liquors, and you took a little pad and you wrote down which ones, and the guy looked at it and he pushed it back at you and you had to sign your name. He hated to write, and he sure didn't want to sign his name. He just got real shaky. He carried signed checks in his billfold, so he wouldn't have to sign a check. I don't know, one day he came out and he said, "Next time you get to town, would you pick me up a few bottles of Four Roses?" And I said, "Sure." said, you notice it's taking more whiskey lately? I said, no, I haven't really checked. But,
So the doctor told him it was okay to drink,
oh, it was a good thing.
and that would stop the shaking.
Well, yeah, it helped.
I mean, kind of calm him down.
And my doctor tells me the same thing. We was gonna wait till 5 and then it, what the heck,
Close
4 or
enough.
5, what's the difference?
Sun's down.
Huh?
How'd you meet Grandma?
Let's see, I don't know. I guess I always knew she's over there at Breda. Them Breda girls didn't like any more Carmel guys. He surprised he was at some dance or something. I went to dances and stood by the bar a lot. Oh yeah, I had to go out there, just like big jumbo elephant out there. She was pretty handy with the dance and stuff.
Yeah? She liked to dance?
Yeah. I got a lot of flack for not learning how to dance. Dancing lessons. I don't know, but that guy said, boy, I'm gonna teach that guy how to dance. He's gonna be my best student. I proved he was wrong.
I remember you taking dance lessons, Dad, so you were
Old enough to know better.
exactly. You would go out for dance lessons and then you would dance around in the kitchen for practice at night when you came home.
Never got much better either, I'll tell you that. Gene and Big Shoe went.
Oh,
He was hopelesser than I was.
you
Is hopelesser the right word?
Who talks out the drive? So you're partly responsible.
Oh my God.
Yeah, that was a horrible. That pretty caused a separation. You gotta go out here and practice, so said, well, stop and shift and drive. Then the pastor going around and around and around. After about so long we're out there and we got up by the front and I said, hey, stop, I got things I gotta do. You can practice out here and when you got enough, just drive it up by the garage and let it set. There's a gate there, 2 posts and a gateway. I said, God, will she make it through that? She made it through, got up by the garage and didn't stop at the garage.
Just
I think it was screaming more, what the hell? No, she eventually drove into Carroll. You had to get a driver's license and of course she had to take the driving test. She passed. She said, well, that's amazing. Well, there again, Sal was driving. We had gone up to Schumacher's and I had my tractor up there. All the kids were up there and Schumacher's had kids too, about the same age. So, and she had a station wagon, an old one, no seat belts or nothing like that. Just a station wagon with, I don't know how many kids was in it at the time. She passed me and just sped up a little bit when she got around me. And the back door came open and Dinah rolled out onto the ground and everybody must have yelled, Dinah fell out, Dinah fell out. And before I could get up behind her and stop, Dinah jumped up and run up and jumped in the van and it took off again. No, he wasn't going to get run over by a damn tractor. Hey,
Oh my God.
lucky everybody survived.
so